Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sales Wisdom Podcast. Today with us we have Or Biderman. He is CEO at Novacy. So we're going to talk sales, B2B sales, reading people, mentorship, and so forth, AI, amongst others. Or welcome to the pod. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and about Novacy?
For sure, Charles. Thank you for having me. Again, I'm the CEO of Novacy. This is a sales intelligence platform, but the 2.0, what we're doing is actually doing all the stuff that everyone knows, recording the call, analyze the speech to text to NLP, giving you insights and this kind of stuff, but with a twist. So what Novacy is actually doing is analyzing body language and facial expression within virtual interactions to actually help you understand as a salesperson, as a sales leader, who is with you, who is against you, what they actually like in your pitch and what they just don't. So with this, we're helping sales or revenue teams just to close more deals, have a better forecasting, and have a whole nother coaching experience.
Love it. How did you get the ideas? Because you started out in sales yourself. Why did you decided to go after this app and especially with the context that there is like huge players like Gong, possibly getting in the same industry and trying to have a piece of the pie, right? So give us some context.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, as you shared, I'm coming with a background of sales, and I was a Gong user myself. I think when COVID hits, I just got a feeling that I'm kind of stopped selling. It's more about delivering messages. People just turned into their computer, reading emails, doing their own stuff, and you don't have the ability to read the room as you used to. So we're losing the ability to read everyone's reaction just to understand who's with me again and to build rapport, to build relationship. So I went complaining to a friend of mine, today my CTO, Uriah, and together we started building something that can help mitigating this, gap between the people. So when screens divided by us, we understood that we need a better tool to actually gain the abilities back. So we talked with hundreds of sales leaders, VPs, CROs, and we just understood that the best way to actually do it is to use the video. By using the video, using the text, using the audio, the whole communication aspect, we can actually capture everything in the room. So I don't know if you know the numbers, but 93% of communication is actually delivered by non-verbals, which means that just 7% of what we're saying is with the words themselves. All the rest is just with body language, with tone of voice, with the facial expressions that we show. And this is the stuff that we collect to actually help everyone to better understand what is happening. So for the next question, the other question that you asked, so Gong, which is a beautiful platform that helped me a lot, is just a platform that can analyze what people said. What Novacy is doing is analyzing everyone, no matter if you are the speaker or not. So by this, we're giving you another perspective about what's the subject that we talked about and how everyone just reflected to it, what a reaction to each and every one of the persona in the room, and by this we can build the whole opportunity landscape and just understand what we need to do to achieve this precious close one.
Right. That statistic, the 93%, I do agree with it, but a certain class of people, I like myself, I think first I'm 100% honest in everything that goes through my mind. I verbalize it. And yeah, that has some pretty negative effect if you have low IQ or EQ. Fortunately, I got to work on that over the years. But in my case, I communicate, I think, way more with words and with my body language. So I think this may apply in like most common mortals case, but I think I communicate even more with my words, so much so that sometimes if I really come back and listen to my podcast episodes, I'll say things that are quite very interesting and that you could dive deep and dig deep and find out more pieces of data with that. So I guess it depends on the class of individuals. I'm also very much of a writer. And then speaker, I'm still working on that, but I write a lot to think, right? I think that most people, yes, the body thing is indeed relevant. Then I'm curious. Well, I'm curious first if you have something to say about that. And the second thing is are people kind of worried when they have the Novacy like trying to film them, this creepy robot trying to decipher stuff about them? Like, is that a concern or a piece of resistance that you get? And like for that question, is the Novacy like a bot that goes on Zoom, or it's a software running on your computer?
Cool. So for the three question, first of all, it's actually relevant to everyone. So I'm a really good body language reader. It's one of my strengths. And you know, when you're sharing your screen, you're just losing everyone. Think about it this way. Right now, okay, we're on a full screen. We're not sharing anything, right? You're looking at me probably on your bigger screen. So take a look at me. Okay, we're gonna play a little game. Take a look at me, and without moving your eyes, just use your peripheral vision. Okay, try to look at yourself without moving your eyes, and you're gonna not see anything. And it's not because of you. It's not about your capabilities as a setter, as a human being. It's not about your skills. It's about your cognitive load. These platforms, if we're talking about Zoom, Meet, Teams, whatever, okay, they build this kind of tunnel vision because we're using different backgrounds. It's two separate screens, and this stuff is just preventing us from reading everyone. So it's not just about how you using your words to actually convey some kind of a message. It's about how everyone is getting you. So think about it this: if we're trying to sell to someone, okay, the most important part, it's not that they understand you, it's for you to understand them. So if I want to sell to someone, I have to understand him, his pains, the objection, everything. But it's not just going to be conveyed by words. Because even if I'm saying something, and right now you're nodding, this is a great feedback that cannot be collected by words. And if you're going to do something like, this is also a beautiful feedback for me to get as a seller to actually, take it into consideration and speak about it. So
Right.
this is how it's actually working for Novacy. So this is for the first question. The second question you ask about how frightening it is to actually use Novacy and has it inside of the conversation. So the reason that we went for sales is just because everyone is already regular to being recorded. Everyone is regular to being analyzed. And for them to have a bot that records the call and analyze it, this is part of the standard of today. So what we're doing is just adding another, layer that actually giving you insights about how to give a better customer experience. At the end, we're not about collecting your data and biometric data. I must say, we're not collecting any biometrical data. We delete everything by the end of the call and just saving the parts that matter for the seller himself. So this is the parts that actually relevant. Of course, with GDPR and CCPA aligned, we're working with all the security measures that everything will stay in and never get out. So this is just most important stuff for us is the privacy issues. You have
Yeah,
something
it's a
to
good
say for it?
answer. It's a good answer. I mean, just like Gong, right? I don't think they they keep everything on the cloud. But my point wasn't even like keeping the data. It's just, well, first I do agree with you. Like I recorded people, especially start of COVID, and I didn't get much problem. Although I felt a bit like an asshole, oh, this meeting's recorded. People started and I mean, there was a disclaimer, but still, I don't do that anymore. Stop doing that. And I don't know, like my thoughts back in these days was that I'm a super public person and people should be that way too. So the assholeness here was more like trying to impose my belief on them. So I stopped recording people. And obviously the mentality was, oh, maybe I'm losing a couple of deals here. Although the statistics told me that I wasn't. But I think my main point was less about keeping that, but just having a bot analyze your emotions in real time. I think that's real creepy. And even for a guy like me, that's like 100% public, to have something that analyze me in real time it's like, yeah, it's a bit how do you say, it's kind of a dominant force. You're like, oh, how should I react now? I am being watched, and I'm not the paranoid type.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like people must have like the 10x that reaction. I still think it's really much relevant. these apps, especially right now I'm talking and I'm looking at the ceiling, and yeah, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm not looking at you, right? Even when you're talking, I'm looking at your website, I'm looking at a bunch of things. And one of the app
Right.
that I taught to fix that, because yes, as a podcaster and as a guy that speaks with like 15-ish people, whether it is for podcast or for sales calls on a daily basis, I thought, oh, how can I make this a bit more interesting? And yes, I don't want to share my screen. And if I do, it's for like 15 seconds. I don't want to lose your attention. I want to give you like a really crisp demo in like 15 seconds, because like I've had reps trying to pitch me for 15 minutes and they lost me after like 30 seconds. The solution I had for that was kind of an AI that would either, yeah, like share screenshots of what I'm talking about, what so would sync my words with the audio. Um, and or just sync like various graphs, while I'm speaking, just to back my point. It would show a study, for example, that proves my point or something like that. So
Mhm.
that's what I thought, but I still very much think that what you're offering is very much relevant, because I don't have time to look at you and I want to get insights after the call. Yes. um so granted that, how do you think you will surmount the kind of creepiness of it? Because if someone is kind of on a Zoom call and they ask like, "Oh, so this app is kind of filming my face and it's giving you insights about my emotions," I think that's
Mhm.
kind of a checkmate. I don't think a lot of people will accept that. So how do you surmount that?
For sure. So think about your app as you just mentioned. Eventually what you're saying is this voice is this call is still being recorded, right? For voice purposes, you're using the voice,
Right.
the tone of voice. You want to capture specific stuff that you're talking about and then show it on a screen. So the voice is still recorded. So you're still getting my tone of voice. You're still getting the stuff that I said. You still can use my words against me. And
Yeah.
this stuff is getting regular, on a daily basis, just because this is how we work. Eventually, I'm here to give you a better look into the company life, because eventually I want you as a seller to solve me a problem, right? So if I want to really share anything with you, I want to just be here with you. And my app is just a replacement to the stuff that we used to do on a round table.
Right.
So if we're sitting in a room and we're sitting five people, I will probably read your body language. If you're moving in your chair, I will probably ask you a question. It's the same stuff that everyone did before, but right now it's just with the help of technology is bringing it back to the table. And for a buyer, eventually is the way that I can know, okay, just what are the specific points that I need to be better in, that I need to improve, that I need to address. Okay,
Right.
I just want to share a story. So I worked with I tried to close a VC, okay, an investment in Novacy. And when I talked with this VC, of course, the call's been recorded because they looking really, into us and they want to understand that everything is working. So Novacy is on, and we're recording them. And after the call, they said something. I said something that actually triggered a bad emotion and the entire VC team. And after the call, I called the general partner and I said, listen, I wouldn't share his name because I don't want to shame him. But listen, in this call, I talked about ABC, and I saw that everyone just took a step back, and I really want to learn why. And this is important for me as a founder. So please, if you don't mind, can you elaborate on it? And he said, listen, amazing that you're asking me this. We have a problem with ABC. Our vision of this is DEF. And this is the point I actually bond us to actually build a relationship that I'm an actual listener. And this is crucial in sales. So this is how we actually doing this. By the way, they invested. The next call was on a flight that they took to Israel, and we drank coffee in Jaffa. And this is how we actually build relationships. And Zoom is just against us. And if we want to really build rapport and build this connection between the two parts, we need something to help us. So this is the form, and Novacy is the answer for it.
Right.
So this is it. And just for the next question that you asked, like you asked three questions, the third one. So Novacy is actually one-click integration into your calendar. So I don't care what platform do you use. So if it's Zoom like this one, Meet, Teams, WebEx, whatever you're using, we just jumping in as another participant, asking for consent. This is the crucial part, as you asked before. We asking for consent at the beginning of the call. If someone really want to get a best customer experience they can get, they say yes. If no, all good. It's just if you want it. And if you want it, it's super cool. And you actually get insights into what just happened in the sales call. So no more happy ears. You all get the exact reaction for each participant. You understand what are the specifics that you need to, capture and work on. And then you can just close more deals.
Right. Yeah, I love how you phrase it. I think yeah, on a short term, a lot of people are gonna have a resistance because it's voice is level one. You can film my voice and okay, that's fine. Although some people freak out, when people pull out their cell phone on them while they're like misbehaving in public society slash shaming, like these TMZ, I believe it was called. Yeah, this news outlet that kind of expose people. Yeah, like
Yeah.
filming with eyes is like next level, right? Like eyes provide so much more data. So that is, I think it's a fact. But another fact is that society is getting more and more comfortable with less and less privacy. So I think that's just, people are just gonna put their guards down. And arguably up to this day, everything I ever say and do could be filmed and recorded in the type of society that we live in. For example, here in Mexico, people have cameras giving on the street directly, right? So everywhere I walk, I'm filmed. There's no like laws protecting citizens for that. And I'm all about it. And like you said, I think you can justify it. Yes, from clients that, do you want to have a better experience? Can we address that? But still, for example, if I would speak and I'd have, Chris Voss guy listening to me, it's kind of this extra pressure, right? Like, oh, is he analyzing me? What is he thinking? It's kind of subconscious. And I also want to talk about one thing, like the app can make some errors, especially with weird folks like me. Um, there's like, how do you manage that? How do you make sure that the app got the emotions right? Because sometimes I can smile on this podcast. Maybe it's an actor smile, maybe it's just like, oh, I'm pretty, I look good, let's have fun. But in reality, it's just, an actor smile or something like that, or something that I learned while listening to another podcast, why it doesn't mean really anything. It's kind of me trying to look better or make you more comfortable, right? So how do you make sure that the app negates these kind of fake signals, if you want?
For sure. So first of all, we're not taking just the facial expression into consideration. We take the text, the voice, and the video. So we're combining everything into one algorithm that can understand the context and then can actually mitigate those. If you're having an actor smile, it just depends on how good of an actor are you, but you have specifics that can actually show if you're really smiling. So if you have, wrinkles, if you have all the stuff that shows a genuine smile, if the context is right, if you're just smiling out of nowhere and it means nothing, I will capture it and I show it as false positive. But if we're talking and this is a genuine smile, we're going to capture it. The more important part is to actually get the engagement on board. So what we want to get is not just, if you're smiley, if you're sad, if you're angry. This is cool. This is great. This is super helpful. But I want to know how engaged are you? What are the specific points or the events that make you, just lean into the conversation and just be more engaged? And this stuff, combining the emotional awareness platform, combining the text, the analytics, and all the stuff that you can actually get from us, this is gold. Eventually, you're gonna get one summary. After every conversation, this is automatic. You get a summary of the conversation. You get specific points of coaching, automated AI coacher already involved in the platform. So after each call, as a seller, you can get coaching. And then I can show you when someone, just behave in a specific manner and what should you do better next time just to solve it and not getting into this spot again. So this stuff is like, like a shield for you as a seller to just make you better. So in both sides, as you said, there are cameras everywhere. I'm feeling safe. If I will feel not safe when I've been recorded, this is just because I'm not genuine. Okay. I'm feeling always confident just because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling, I'm sharing the story of Novacy, of myself. I'm sharing the stuff that I feel 100% confident with. So if I'm recorded, this is fine. And I'm a seller. If you feel like uncomfortable to being recorded, this is a problem as a seller, because we have to be in the right spot in the right time, sharing the right information, answering the right answer to the right question. And if it's not the right question, we should ask the right question right back at a customer. So this is the stuff that we're doing as sellers, and this is super crucial because this is a seller platform. I'm not doing it for any other, use case. It's not for, I don't know, education. And now I'm capturing children's learning, and I'm saying this children is just, this child is using his phone and is not listening. No. Okay. We're here with a higher purpose to actually help everyone. So this
Right.
is how we through sales.
I like it. What can we think about as, because I let me start out with this. The word, when I said creepy, is not really like what I meant. This is mostly what society means, right? Like normal people, like the 93% body language. In my case, it's kind of the alpha mechanism, right? Oh, I have this bot tracking me, trying to take advantage of me or trying to get better with me. That's like the testosterone reflex that um I have in my case, right? I still think I'd use it. I actually signed up for the trial thing. Um it's
Welcome
interesting, but
aboard.
yeah, thank you. Your rep will onboard me 45 minutes. I only have 15 by word, like 45 is way too long for me. But anyway, what can we picture as a future of, because that's already a bot, it's already AI, and like how long would Charles do these calls if he's being tracked by a bot? Like how long will it take me until I send my Charles GPT to actually do the calls for me? Where do you see AI going the next 5 to 10 years? How's the sales game gonna change?
Yeah. So let's divide it into two. So first of all, Charles will never be replaced. This is just for the only reason that people are buying from whom they trust. And trust is the most important aspect of sales. So if I'm doing a sales call with someone and it's just, answering a question in computer, if it's something, on the lower side of the price, it's easier to buy it because, the risk is low and it's fine. If it's something that I really need to take into consideration and it's something that I need to work for, I need to understand that this is the best solution for me. So I want someone to talk with. And there are some researches that showing that people don't want to talk with people. People don't want to talk with sellers. And this is crazy. But then you can see the numbers of regrets after using the platform, which is just, skyrocket. So what we're doing here is to actually give you the tools to just be better. So this is the first side when we're talking about if it will replace you. And if we're talking about the future is talking about just be much more efficient. Okay, eventually what we want to build for our sellers, and we always try to do it, is to build this muscle memory. Okay, people need to understand their product in a way that the other side will ask a question and I have the answer. Even if I don't have the answer, this is the trust part. I will say that I don't know the answer and I'm going to look for it. But eventually, the product is going to actually help me sell itself. So this is, I think, where we're going for. So if you have, like tailored coaching, what we're doing right now at Novacy, it's like blowing my mind. And I'm the CEO of Novacy, and it's blowing my mind because I'm as a seller, I'm looking at it and I'm saying like, no way that I get an immediate response without even, needing to take a look into the conversation. Back then, I said that I used this platform before. So when I use other platforms, I just have the ability to put, like to speed up the conversation to 1.5 or 2x speed and just watch it much faster. And this is the only tool that I have. So I just need to understand what happened in a call, to learn about it, to understand the relationship between the sides, to read the emails, to do so much work to actually understand what happened in a call. And right now, it's with no efforts. You finish a call, and you get the analysis and you know exactly what was the good parts, what was the bad parts, and then you can just move on. With coaching, the coaching is tailored. I know that Charles is the best pricing pitcher in the whole company, but I know that when you talk about specific, let's say, competitive landscape, you're raising fear and angry on your prospects. And this is super crucial, because what I can do is just call your colleague and say, okay, when I'm looking at this colleague, I can say that when he's talking about the competitive landscape, it's just, it's natural. People hear, people say, okay, people go, move forward. So I taking this part and sharing it with Charles, and now I'm building an A player. So who's going to fear from these tools is eventually just the C players. B players always want to become an A player. For this, you have to get the proper knowledge. You have to be the best seller that you can be. You must keep on learning and just build up this muscle memory that could build the A player that you need to be. So eventually, it's just about training and about coaching and about how to become better. And that's it.
Think, yeah, that would be short term, but you got me realizing when I talked about the smiling thing and the acting thing, I'd find it kind of felt disingenuine from me to have evolved as a seller to smile just to reassure you had like like the Grinch kind of um just to generate more serotonin in my buyer. And I was like,
Yeah.
is the future of sales 100% product focus? Like, okay, there's the trust factor, but what about like pure stats about the product and very accurate predictions? If you choose me, you have a 96% chance of success, right? Vs if you choose the competitor, you have a 91% chance of success. Isn't that the future of sales? Like no human facing person and just like pure stats? Wouldn't be the ideal world? And when would that be? Would it be like 10 to 15 years from now? Because I can see like the next 5, 7, 8 years involving humans and emotions, or having the Charles GPT and the convo. It's like the Synthesia version of me, but probably a bit better. And I'd make it, if I could, I'd turn the knob to 100% honest, because right now, who knows, maybe I'm missing a couple of percentage points in the honesty field. Maybe I'm like 96%, while most people are like 50% honest. So like what do you think about that? Because me, it's like this self-reflection moment. Like, why do you have to display all these behaviors, these social behaviors, if in the end I want the customer to choose the best product?
Yeah. So think about it as today, okay? You're going to buy, I don't know, anything, okay?
A
There are
banana.
specific spots that you're going to buy a banana, okay? You can go to the first, I don't know, like fruit store, and you just, going to someone and he just yell at you, take my bananas, it's super cheap, take them away, it's super cheap, take them. Or you're going to the next place, it's 2 cents more expensive, but you have like a fuzzy feeling when you're coming in, everybody hugs you, like it's feel like the right place to be, and it's actually have air conditioning inside of the store. So
Right.
right now you're saying, okay, if I'm gonna do like a large buy, I don't know, I maybe go to the place with air conditioning because this is better for me. But eventually what we want to get for us as people, is the best solution for us. To let the platforms, to let the algos understand it for us, it's a bit tricky because it doesn't take everything under consideration. It
Right.
takes the stuff that the O's and the ones. It's taking just the big stuff, the stuff that we taught them to actually do. And even if it's the most sophisticated AI, eventually you need to bring your thoughts into the process. So
Right.
if I want 24/7 support, if I want to get, I don't know, like a faster result, it's gonna take me, like something expensive, something cheaper, I don't know, but it's gonna be fair. So I need to understand the full prospect, the full aspect of the company itself and the service they are selling. Of course, everything is to a bit to the left, a bit to the right, with the right messaging and value props. So I really need to find this one to actually help me. This is the reason, by the way, that we do like a market research. We're talking with a couple of companies which doing exactly the same every time, over and over again. It's not just about the price; it's about the whole package. So this
Right.
is the stuff that actually
No, I
prevent
fully
us
agree
to
with
move
that.
forward and started.
That's exactly what I had in my mind, right after I asked my question. And the thing is that people sometimes they don't even know what they want, right? But on
Yeah,
paper, we can know that they're looking for a part consulting, apart from someone that can
yeah,
understand their emotion. Because, for example, me, my main product is cold email as a service, right? And I
yeah,
included a bunch of features which I thought and that statistically my clients were seeking over the years: consulting, talking about product market fit and so forth, what is their offer, how do they present themselves and so forth. It's way more than just sending emails, right? It's probably a list of 100 elements that we accomplish for them. Now, well, ideally, I still view that vision that this AI would grade me on all the points. It would grade my prospect on hundreds of need points or and want points, and have a percentage for each, and try to pair how much my company could deliver that via as the competitor, and then we would have a
yeah,
final score. That's eventually how I would view it, and obviously that's very complex. I don't think we're going to achieve that in the next 10 to 15 years, but still it's fascinating
yeah,
to think about, the future of sales, because right now nowadays we're doing a lot of AI openers, and I want to be honest about them. I want to mention, my AI assistant find out this about you, and not say, oh, I found out that about you, although you could consider the AI as an extension of me. But we're seeing the landscape already change under our feet, and we're having all these tools right now. And that brings a lot of questions to me, like where sales gonna go nowadays. It's like, okay, maybe sales is even going to be one of the first profession to be replaced, but no, maybe it's going to be one of the last, because it involves trust, right? What do you think is in
mhm,
terms of like, well, you talked initially it's not going to be replacement. I do agree with that for some time as well. But do you tend to think that
mhm.
sales is going to be one of the first or one of the last professions to be replaced?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the last, one of the last, just because again, it involved like humanity. Think about, you can go into a website that compares different software, okay? Even the good one, okay? G2, they calling each and every responder, and they having a conversation with them, and they, asking all the right question, and they getting like a response. And then I'm as a customer that looking at your G2 website, I'm seeing this, tremendous reviews and everything is cool. What the next thing that I'm going to do? I'm going to call a friend that actually used you and say, listen, Charles, when you use this platform, what are you thinking about it? Why is this? This is happening just because we trust the people that we know. We trust other person experience, and for us, it's a crucial part of our decision process. And in this part, this is again the same thing that will gonna prevent us from living it entirely. It can be helpful. It can be the stuff that can actually filter, let's say, the 5 to 10 companies that I'm gonna talk with. For sure, it's even today. Again, G2 in these kind of companies, it's just Capterra. They're giving me the ability to understand, okay, I want to be focused on 5. But then another question. If it's just about how good the product, how it showed like, past success and this kind of stuff, where is the place for the startups, for the people who can actually disrupt the whole market, come with a different approach? If they don't gain a score with these kind of platforms, how an early adopter can actually see a platform like this and test it and actually change the world? So what we're doing as startups is coming with a no name, coming as an underdog, and changing the whole perspective of how people actually perceive a specific process. This is all the idea behind startups. This is
Right.
what's so, beautiful, scary, amazing, crazy about this space. So
Fascinating.
this platform actually score, it's still out of the blue in my side.
Right. Really loved your conversation. I broke my brain in a couple of ways, which is always a good sign. I'm just curious, a couple of stats on your startup on Novacy. Like, how much clients do you have right now, and how much are you hoping to have by the end of this year?
It's a very good and private question, but
It is
so Novacy just launched. Novacy just launched. We already have dozens of customers. We're talking a little behind the 100. We're looking to get an additional 2,000 users by the end of this year.
good.
and we're going really fast into this space. You have a lot of different tools to actually help people get a decision. So first of all, it's Novacy, but the second phase is actually the stuff that you said. How can I help people to try something without, the talking with someone, just to have a first experience by myself? And there are stuff today as PLG, self-serve. All of this stuff is actually helping us collecting leads, get people to actually get test off the platform, to get the experience they're supposed to get. And by this, then we calling them, we helping them to understand how the platform is actually a fit for them, and then we can move forward. And of course, if they're a fit for our platform, no, not everyone should use Novacy. Not everyone. If you're looking for something like this, there is no such other thing like this.
Wow. Well, for the numbers part, 2000% growth in like 8 months or something like that. That's quite bold. Well, we're more than half of the, well, almost half of the year now. So like props to you for these ambitious goals as the CEO. Like you definitely love to challenge yourself. The funding, was it pre-seed or was it seed? Like what round was that?
It was a small seed. So
Are you still
Novacy,
raising
not
right
like
now or?
no, we finished. Knock on wood. We just finished our funding, fundraising. I think in these times it's not 21 when you just came with a great idea and money just thrown away on you. People are actually asking for for proof to saying
Yep.
that you're gonna be big, you're gonna succeed, you're gonna be something that you can actually hope for to get like the 10x that every VC is looking for. So it was a very hard way to get with actually bootstrapped to the spot that we have this beautiful customers that can actually help us grow. And we just finish our founding round, and it's amazing feeling to have the ability to grow with your beautiful team and just touch the
I think
peaks.
I think you guys are gonna go far. Your background is quite intriguing. One last question for an SDR
Sure.
nerd like myself. What's your GTM strategy? For example, I use cold email quite a lot with LinkedIn
Mhm.
outreach and multi-touch, with calls in there. So who's in charge
For
of
sure.
leading that, and what numbers are you aiming for salespeople here? What are your KPIs at around 10 10 accounts 10 new accounts generated, aka leads per month? Is it per week? What are your goals? Because you're talking about the 2000% growth in 1 year. To reach that amount of customers, let's say 2000 customers, well, crap, you need like at least 10,000 leads or something like that. So tell us about these stats and how do you plan reaching those in terms of SDR and GTM strategies?
For sure. So what we're doing is we started with LinkedIn, just building the lists. We actually started with Crunchbase. What we're doing is just getting out all the non-active, inactive companies, because LinkedIn does not give you this information. You can keep your page forever. So we started with this list, transfer it to LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, we're getting the specific contacts that we want to approach. Divided into two mechanisms. One for automated emails sequence. The second one is for outreach by LinkedIn. So it's very important to understand who is your ICP and where's the platform that they're going to be strolling at. So for us, as we're selling to sales teams, we're selling usually, think about it, our buyer is going to be one of two. It's going to be the VP sales, it's going to be the CRO. And if we're selling to a VP sales or CRO, it's very hard to get them. Everyone is on LinkedIn, but it's very hard to get them because everyone is targeting them. So what we did, we actually went one down. We just targeting directors of sales, and sales ops. And what we're doing is getting our champion and going one up. So at the beginning, when we targeted, CROs and VP sales, we saw like 0.007% success rate by, like a response rate, which was sucked. And then when we went for the directors, we actually went up to 20% reply rate. And it's crazy because what we need someone who has the pain. Directors are looking for every conversation today, trying to look on the calls, understand who's doing what, good or bad. And the problem is it's not scalable. So what we're giving them, it's something that is actually relief for their own pain. And then we get a champion. When we're getting a champion and we're coming to the VP sales or the CRO with this champion, this is gold. And now we just shorten our entire, sales cycle, and it's coming real quick. So this is the two main efforts that we're doing beside cold calling. So we are a big believers in cold calling. All of our calls being recorded and analyzed for training purposes or whatever. But what we're doing is actually, drinking our own champagne. We're using Novacy in each and every step of the way to actually build the right messaging, the right, processes, to actually monitor the entire processes, to build the right demo, to see what people care about or not, to see what the pain points, if it's coming back, if it's something that I can address, I will address it in the most impactful way based on customer reactions. So this is the way that we're going. We're talking about like a huge like lift from the 100 to 2000, but for us it's not that big of a deal, because eventually what you need is a couple of two big believers that can actually get in, and with them you can do whatever you like.
Yeah, I think drinking your own champagne is the greatest flywheel when it comes to building a sales SaaS. It's like, oh, if my sales are not good, then how can I preach this product to others? And then you kind of force yourself and to kind of overuse the product, provide more feedback to your team so that you can have more feedback and growth. So it's really a flywheel, and I really like that. I'm starting my own sales SaaS this year, and that's the greatest advantage. I think just for that reason can be one of the best tools ever. So yeah, learned a lot in that call. Or thank you for sharing so much value. Where can people find out more about you and Novacy?
For sure. So you can enter our website, novacy.io. Of course, you can get into my LinkedIn page, always available at LinkedIn. So Or Biderman via LinkedIn. And just feel free, you can email me or at novacy.io or and I'm just available everywhere. Happy to build relationship, looking for it. And just Charles, amazing to to be here, and thank you for having me.